I'm Vince Partington. I am a proud Woiwurrung, Yorta Yorta, Wemba Wemba and Jajawarrung man. And I'm living on Woiwurrung land. My partner and I'm married to Filmer Box. He's a famous drag performer in Victoria. Most people know who Filmer is. Darren is his name. And we are living on a little 3-acre farm at the moment. PRNBIAL is Woiwurrung, which is a Wiradjuri language for shield. Oh, sorry, for rainbow. For rainbow, Gayam is the shield, which I cut down a tree here, an old dead tree, and carved the Gayam out of the wood, and then reproduced it in resin, clear resin with glitter. Mm-hmm. And it's in the 11 colours of the Progress rainbow flag, and they're all displayed together in a line on a plinth, upright, so you can get the light shining through and the glitter really pops. And it's kind of a celebration of alliance, particularly the ties between the ancient culture, which is my Aboriginal culture, and also just all the different facets of our community, and showing that the correlation between that we do share similarities, and that we should look at the flag and also culture and being allies, basically. Yeah. So the shield which I carved it without any totems on the front of the shield. It's completely blank, just with the natural sort of cracks that were in the timber. It's blank because in my when I look back on my family and the particular all the stuff that we don't have any of the knowledge that has been passed down. Normally shields would carry images of things that were really essential to your being, and a lot of that was lost, unfortunately. In Victoria, I think because it was such a bountiful place, the people there suffered the most, and lost the most. And I know that from this woman here who wrote stories about what happened during the late 1800s, that people died, a lot of people died, and a lot of people starved. And all the people that went to the mission, if you spoke in your native tongue, if you sang songs or wrote or practiced your art, you were punished, and that was in the form of retraction of rations, or you were beaten. So that was kind of how they took away. So I feel that loss. Yeah. Our whole family feels that loss. We're trying to get it back. But that's why this is blank. On the back of the shield, the only totem that I have is the footprints of Guthaga. And Guthaga is the skink, the little lizard. And the story of the skink, I think, is one, and it's on every shield. So it doesn't matter, all those different people that the colours of that shield, those shields represent. I think we all have Guthaga's story in common. And that is that Guthaga, when he comes out of his hole, he the magpie sees him and goes to eat him, and Guthaga will sacrifice a part of himself in order to survive. So he drops the tail, and the magpie eats the tail and goes back inside the hole. But when Guthaga comes back out again a while later, when he feels safe, he's regrown the tail, and the tail's come back, but it's stronger than it was before. And for me, that's that. The closet? Yes. Yeah.
It's really like metamorphosis.
It is. It's It's showing that although bad things can happen, and you do I feel like I've sacrificed a lot of myself in order to survive, like literally. That now, what I'm doing now is my chance to show my new tale. I'm talking about when I was a kid and I was doing all these things for my peers, I was bullied relentlessly. And I can remember specifically being teased, and the thing was, I loved playing with girls when I was a boy, and I was the kid who was always putting on plays at school. I'd come to school in knee-high boots, and I was quite a camp kid, but I had that beaten out of me, and I realised through the violence and the bullying, it was often easier to hide it. So I had to sacrifice that part of myself. What I've had to sacrifice is kind of minimal compared to some other people in my family. People who were around before I was born, who put in the hard yards when it was illegal. I mean, it was illegal when I was a teenager. I think that's part of why I went into the closet so deeply as well, is because it was during all of the AIDS campaigning, and there was so much hatred. The process of making the shield is, culturally, that's a big part of the actual work. Is that the gay arm is the symbol, is the totem, and how it relates to identity is, it represents family to me, and I often feel like it's almost like it's armor. That's traditionally what it was used for, and I think all of us could probably take something from that. Well, obviously it examines traditional culture because I'm using a traditional practice, which is actually making the shield and going through that process. It was interesting when I was carving the shield, I often felt like there was someone standing over my shoulders saying, "No, you don't do it that way." I'm lucky that, for me, family has been like a shield. So they're who I go to when I need advice, or when I'm questioning myself. I mean, to be completely honest, it hasn't always been like that. I've had to work at it. I've worked really hard to show a lot of people that I'm someone worthy of respect. And it shouldn't be like that. Some people just get it. Yeah. But I've had to work at it. And, I'm proud that I've done that. And I've changed some ideas that people had about who I was. But that's my story. My ancestors survived pretty much what would have been a Holocaust within this country. It was a war, and they all went through missions. They were the ones who survived. I'm my grandmother. That's my grandmother there. That's my great great grandmother, Lizzie Davis. That's her when she was a small girl back in 1860 with her mother, Ginny. And they were from Woiwurrung, which is out on the Goulburn River, up near Yass.
Yeah, took the photo, like what the...
that was taken at the mission. So women and children were basically taken to the mission. And she lived to be 100. That's her there as a woman. She lived to be 100 years old. So they were all taken to Corrandirk Mission, which is out near Healesville. And the mission doesn't exist anymore, but she was one of the, sadly, when she died in the 60s, they had closed the cemetery. That's where Barak and all of those famous Aboriginal people are buried, and she never got to be buried with them, unfortunately, because they'd closed the cemetery. But she's nearby. She's nearby in the the regular cemetery down the road. Grandma Lizzie would be my, you know, a lot of the things I do, I think I do for her. Because she fought pretty hard and survived some pretty horrific things, and still managed to leave a lasting legacy to her ancestors. You know, I'm 4 generations down the track, and we still admire the woman she was. Very strong women in our family.